Well, sadly, this is the end of the course. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this course and to learn with me. I really enjoyed teaching it. And just to kind of recap what we've learned, we learned what the different access objects are, and we learned how to create tables, queries, forms, and reports. As you recall, we created our employees table, and as we progressed through the course, we created a primary key for our employees, and later we went in and we linked our office ID to our office's table. We added date of birth, and we even added a calendar selector. We used our design view to go in and edit the properties. Remember, when we go into different data types, you can enter the properties, and we used input masks, and we adjusted field size and did all kinds of things like that. We went into our database tools and we created relationships between our tables to link our primary keys to the foreign key in our employees table. We created 3 different queries to ask questions of our data and sort our data in meaningful ways. We created a form so we could easily enter data into our tables. We created some navigation buttons here to make it easier for the user, and we also used combo boxes to create drop downs, not only to make it easier to enter information, but to avoid errors when people are entering information so that they can't enter their own. And then finally, we created 3 different reports, including a employee phone list, and we worked on some formatting to kind of clean things up and resize fields. And as you recall, we used different ways of creating reports. So the first report, this report, actually we created just using the report tool, and then we went and created different reports using the report wizard. And in the wizard, we were able to lay things out a little bit differently, structure the table differently, and also select data to put in our report from different tables using our employees table and our offices table. So by now, particularly if you were a first-time beginner to Access, your head is probably swimming. You've learned a lot of new concepts, and there's just one thing that I want to emphasize about Microsoft Access, and that is that it is a very large and complex program. And there is just so much that you can learn about it, and a lot of the ways that you can learn is just by continuing to practice and take what you've learned. So for instance, take a report like this, and remember we learned how to copy it, paste it, leave it titled as copy of, click OK, and now you have a copy of that. You can go into that, and you can go into your design view, and you can start to play around with things. You can select on things and move things. You can, start getting into the footers and playing with these. You can play with the properties, add controls, experiment with the formatting so that you can really expand what you've learned and continue to take Access in the direction that you need it to go, whether it's for your work or for your personal use or whatever. I highly recommend going through the course at least once, and twice is best. And if you don't have time to do the whole course twice, then definitely go back and focus on areas where maybe you were a little bit fuzzy as I was explaining it, or areas that you need to use for your work. For instance, if it's really important that you do reports for your boss, then spend some more time in the reports section. Or if you need to create a form for some reason, then spend more time in that section. And you'll just be amazed at how much you'll pick up the second time around. I'm always amazed when I talk to students who have watched a video or a lecture or the entire course twice, because they seem to understand and remember much more of the concepts, and they remember them on a deeper level. So please do that, and also go along with the lectures and really practice this in your own Access database. Getting in there and clicking is going to really ingrain this stuff in your memory. Okay? And if you have any questions, hit me up in the discussions, in the course discussions, or you can even direct message me, and I'm glad to help and direct you to further resources or whatever I can do to help you. Thanks again for learning with me all the way through the course, and I will talk to you in the discussions.